battle a flying monkey, use a beaver chainsaw, and defeat the fire-breathing dragon. It's the new Fairly OddParents video game.
Choose your character.
Hello amigos, Ramen coming at ya. Fairly OddParents is a show that I grew up loving. Even through its many bad live action movies, a terrible live action show that made Timmy look like a Chad, and unnecessary character additions like Sparky. Does anyone remember this character? Like, anyone?
Also, I don't want the FBI to find this. I was never here.
Even after all that, I still have a soft spot for the show. For many of you who don't know, the show has a very simple premise. Timmy is an average kid who no one understands, his mom and dad don't care for him, and he has to deal with an evil babysitter named Vicky. Magical fairies named Cosmo and Wanda come in and make Timmy's life better. The show is pretty straightforward, but translating the show with its unique art style into a game, well, that seemed impossible. Well, not for the people over at Blitz Games, who have been making licensed games for popular shows for years. The two games we're going to talk about are Fairly OddParents Breakin Da Rules and its sequel Showdown. So without further ado, is that even a word? Anyway, so without further ado, let's talk about Fairly OddParents Breakin Da Rules and Showdown. Two games from my childhood that are either bad, just average, or maybe I'm just too nostalgia blind to care. Let's dive in.
The Fairly OddParents video game in 15 seconds. What's so great about having Fairly OddParents? You can bust through walls, drive a big bulldozer, battle a flying monkey.
Fairly OddParents Breakin Da Rules is a platform game where the player being you have to go through 10 very unique levels. Collect 5 wish stars so Timmy can make a wish to get through the level. Each level is pretty much rinse and repeat. You do the level to get a missing page of the rules. And you face off against a boss. Some bosses range from a germ, a woman with a spatula and a lazy eye, or Vicky as a dragon. The storyline for this game is Timmy's parents go on vacation, so they leave Timmy with Vicky. You'd think by now they realize that's a bad idea, but it's Timmy's parents, they're freaking idiots.
Asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway!
Timmy tries to make a wish, but Cosmo and Wanda tell him it's a bad idea as the wish goes against the rules. Timmy, being a kid, wishes he didn't have to follow the rules, so Cosmo, being the idiot he is, destroys the rules book. When Vicky arrives, she gains possession of the rules book. She then wishes Timmy was still asleep. This leads Cosmo, Wanda, and Timmy to go to Fairy Court, leading Cosmo to deliver this weird line.
We get to see the judge serve a hot, creamy justice for some unsuspecting creep. Some unsuspecting creep.
What? What the fuck?
That made me chuckle a bit. Jorgen then gives Cosmo and Wanda 49 and a half hours to get the missing pages of the rules. Before Vicky goes power hungry, it's after this long cutscene where we're thrown into a tutorial where we learn the basics of the game. Running, jumping, camera rotating, the basics. Each level, as I said before, requires you to collect 5 wish stars, and because the game likes to challenge you, the wish stars run, so you have to try to catch every one. The levels are split up into 3 segments, meaning you have to collect 5 wish stars 3 times in a row. Usually the wishes themselves are selective to the obstacle in Timmy's way, such as need to cut down a tree, have Cosmo be a chainsaw. Need to balance on a tightrope, here's a Q-tip. Or have trouble digging as a dog even though dogs are notorious for digging really good? Well, here's a super dig ability. The wish you just made will then disappear after you get through another section in the level. If you get these Crimson Chin cards, they unlock clips from the show like the Shiny Teeth and Me song, a clip from Channel Chasers, and some other scenes from the show. The game also has these crowns scattered around. If you get 100 crowns, Timmy gains an extra life, kinda like Mario. Trust me, you're gonna need it because you cannot fight back at certain enemies in this game. Only stun them or make them dizzy. Certain levels like a badge too far, my least favorite level, has you playing as a Squirrel Scout, sneaking around Metal Gear Solid mode. I can't count how many times during my playthrough of this level I wanted to smash my controller.
I can see you, Squirrely Scout!
The flash from the Girl Scouts flashlights almost leaves zero room, so I have to run so I don't get caught. Most levels in this game are kind of like that. They're repetitive. For a kid's game, the 5 wish stars you have to collect, it gets kind of tiring. After I play like 5 levels, I already wanted to put my controller down. The game is also very passive for some reason. Like, the only time you can really kill an enemy is in a boss battle, which are really easy. The level Crash Landing, Timmy gets his Crash Nebula outfit, and he gets this cool gun that shoots pillows. Like, they gave the enemies these laser guns that shoot bubbles, and then they gave Timmy a pillow. A freaking pillow! I get it's a kid's game, and it's rated E for everyone, but some rated E for everyone games have the ability to kill enemies. So I don't really know what's this game's excuse. One of my biggest pet peeves in this game is Timmy's jumping. This game calls whatever this is a double jump, but there are times when I'm platforming and I can barely make it to the end of the level. Timmy's bad jumping already makes this game 10 times more frustrating. When if you die, you have to start over again if you don't find a checkpoint door. And sometimes these checkpoint doors are really hard to find. Something I really gotta commend this game on is for matching the art style of the show. I mean, yeah, some characters don't translate well to 3D, but they really did nail the feel of the show. The main hub for getting to the levels is Timmy's house, and I really did enjoy going around and exploring the house. But the thing you're gonna notice while playing the game is the sound design is not good. Characters for some reason sound like their mics are either too loud, and it sounds like there's this weird hissing sound when the characters speak. It can make getting through cutscenes kind of annoying. Like, there's this cutscene where Timmy's a dog and he wishes he can fly. They give him a flying tail and the sound effect is way too loud. It drowns out what Wanda is saying.
You can use it to hover for short periods. Try it!
I don't know who was in charge of sound design, but they should have really lowered the gain on some of the sound effects for cutscenes. The audio is not something many kids will notice, but if you're me playing this game for a video, it can be hard not to miss. Now, this game, for its many technical problems, I can't say I didn't have fun. For all the bad levels I played, there's also some good ones that I enjoyed. I enjoyed playing as a dog. It offered a new gameplay mechanic that I really found fun. I enjoyed playing as Clef, the boy Chen Wonder, and navigating the comic book world to save the Crimson Chin. The game, upon my replay, there are moments of frustration, but also moments of happiness, as I felt like I went back in time, playing these games as a kid, in my grandma's house. I do recommend this game if you feel like playing a game that does capture the look, charm, and feeling when you watch the show growing up.
One imaginative kid. Things are about to get really odd!
Just a year after Breakin Da Rules, we were given the follow-up Showdown. The game only having a year of development time for Blitz Games meant they had to rush this game out, and it's obvious upon first glance. The game only has a total of 6 levels compared to Breakin Da Rules, which had a total of 10. But even with a rushed development, the game's improvements are actually really good. But before we talk about that, let's discuss the story for this game. The game starts with Timmy being really excited for the season finale of his favorite show, Crash Nebula, but for some reason the TV stops working. Timmy asks Cosmo and Wanda to fix it, but they can't. Turns out the Royal Jewel, the second most powerful source of magic, was stolen, which means wish powers have been disabled. We're then thrown into a tutorial to learn the basics of the game, jumping, camera turns, and a new mechanic, dashing, which makes it easy to catch wish stars in the game. We also have another new mechanic, the ability to switch out wish powers. That's better than the last game where every wish felt like it was circumstantial to the obstacle in front of Timmy. We then go to Fairy World, and after some unique platforming, we fight a jester named Quincy, as he's suspected of stealing the jewel. It turns out he didn't, and the only way to get the jewel back is to build Fairy World's first most powerful source of magic, the Fairyversary Muffin, introduced in the special Abra-Catastrophe. Timmy orders the ingredients for the muffin, where else but the internet. It's funny how modern Fairly Odd Parents stopped using this joke. The joke is really funny knowing the internet as we know it now. Timmy orders the ingredients and they get to his house in 1 second. Vicky gets the package and gives the muffin ingredients to Timmy's parents. And she takes one for herself. She then smashes the egg, and you're thrown into this TV-like hub world where you're able to select through levels. It's kinda bland. I much prefer the house hub world from the first game, but I digress. After beating each level, you build the muffin, and poof to the villain's location, where you see the fairy king and queen tied up. We get a pretty good twist where it's revealed the fairy named Chamberlain's Shadow was the villain the entire time. Huh, that's why it's called Shadow Showdown. Okay, moving on. The Shadow Monster wants to use the jewel to reverse the way shadows work. You beat the shadow and wish everything back to normal. Timmy then wishes for a tape of the Crash Nebula finale. And that's the game. I say the story of this game is a lot more fleshed out than the first one, with the introduction of characters like Queen Oberon and Queen Titania. While these characters only exist in this game, the lore about them is pretty interesting. I say the villain not being Vicky was great too. As the shadow figure, when revealed to people playing this game for the first time, it's pretty shocking. And the idea to have him not be revealed until the very end was a pretty smart move by the writers. As for the gameplay for this game, the 6 levels are okay, with the first one being Fairy World and the second one being Timmy's dad's dream. Third one being the Crimson Chin level, and the fourth one being the mansion, the fifth one being the monkey level based on Abra-Catastrophe, and the sixth one being the Crash Nebula space type level. And technically the last level is the boss, but that doesn't really count as a level. I'm gonna be honest, the levels don't really stand out to me, and each one has an insane amount of annoying backtracking. I say the only level that stands out to me is the Monkey World level and the Crimson Chin level. The others are just boring. Unlike the previous game, this one has power-ups you can purchase at these tents. One increases Timmy's speed, one gives you a Wish Star radar, the ability to jump higher. The upgrades make playing this game much easier, especially in some platforming sections in this game. The game also fixes Timmy's terrible jumping from the first game. Timmy has a real double jump and not whatever the first game had. One of my biggest gripes with the first game was having to collect 5 Wish Stars. In this game, you only collect 3 for each section. Each star also has a different color, which I guess that's their way of making them stand out. Pretty much everything that was in the first game is in this game, but with new addition and tweaks to make the game not infuriating. And I would say the ability to switch your wish powers is a neat addition. The wish powers don't suck unlike the first game. I swear, whichever idiot said, maybe Timmy should wish for a freaking Q-tip, should be hit with a freaking bat. With all the major tweaks, this game also has better audio and visuals than the first game, with the models looking less stiff and more animated in cutscenes. Also, the audio doesn't sound like the voice actors are recording in a hallway. The voices sound much clearer, and the sound effects, while being the same from the first game, are a lot better. The major problems I have with this game are very minor. One is this game has less levels than the first game. So this game you can beat in one sitting. It will take you like what, 3 hours if you're committed. I even saw some speedrunners on YouTube beat this game in like 28 minutes. Another small issue is this TV type hub world where they lock these levels until you beat 2. The first game gave you the freedom to play whatever level you wanted, while also giving you the added ability to explore Timmy's house, which was an added bonus. But if you're a fan of the show, just like me, this game is pretty okay. It adds new additions that make the game feel less difficult. The game's cutscenes have more life to them, so if you're a fan of the show, you'll enjoy seeing Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda be more animated than the first game. The game still has that visual style of the show that's inviting to people of all ages who grew up on The Fairly OddParents. The Fairly OddParents games meant so much to me as a kid. It transported me back in time, watching the Fairly OddParents specials, laughing at the funny jokes, and being excited for new episodes. I am a Fairly OddParents fan. Through the series' many ups and downs and failures, I will always be a fan, and these games reminded me of that. If you yourself want to play a game that both feels and looks like the show, I recommend you check out these games for yourself. My name is Ramen, and to quote Timmy Turner, the internet. You have a good night.